Surface computer that you see here is connected to the high-definition television via an HDMI cable. There is an adapter on the Surface computer that converts its video output into HDMI, which you can then attach an HDMI cable to. I have a just conventional password installed so far. No picture password yet. And so what you see then is my basic start menu. I've already organized several of the tiles into different groups. You see the group named Main, Communications, and Secondary, for example. One of the biggest differences about Windows 8 versus Windows 7 is that there's a lot of interfacing to the cloud going on. For example, the photos that you see here are a mix of photos actually stored on the laptop in Pictures Library and on my SkyDrive. And I can stream through the SkyDrive just as easily as I can stream through the photos in the local library. For instance, here I just select the enterprise pictures, and I can even do something like a slideshow of these. Sweep up from the bottom, you get the current context menu, and I can say run it as a show, and the photos you're seeing now are coming directly from the SkyDrive. Then I can back out of it just like that. When you're done looking at the photos, like all applications, you can swipe down from the top and then off to turn off the application. The tiles are very much like a digital dashboard, and each not only has its own application screen but also has a summary of information from the application. For example, the weather app presents the current temperature, and if I bring up the full screen display, what you see is the forecast. One convenience is that the laptop has a location service, and the location service automatically locks into wherever I happen to be. I set up weather and I set maps to reflect my current location. So there, for example, is the weather for where I am at the moment. And if I go to Maps, you'll see a map of where I am right now. Where did I put those maps? Maps. And that nicely zooms in on my current location as well. As you can see, I'm still getting used to the system. You saw me log in already. To shut down the machine is really trivial. You can swipe from the right and bring up the charm list. And under Settings, Power, you can see three options: sleep, shut down, and restart. And by pressing shut down, it would then shut down the machine. I can get out of it by simply tapping on the screen. Another nice feature is that by bringing up the charm list, I also bring up the current date and time, as well as the signal strength and the battery level. Now there are two user interfaces with Windows 8. One is the Metro interface, which you're seeing right now with all the different tiles. The second is the desktop interface. The desktop is very similar in concept to Windows 7. For instance, I can bring up the File Explorer different from the Windows Explorer before, but essentially the same idea. And from here you can see, for instance, the videos in my library on the local machine. From here I can do a right click and get the property list, perform various things as so desired, and so on. If I want to get back to the start menu, the Metros interface, I can do several things. One is move the mouse down to the lower corner, which brings up the start menu there. Or I can just press the Windows button on the front panel, and that'll bring it up that way, which is fairly easy to do, of course. So switching between the two interfaces is trivial. When you are in the arrow interface like this, you still have access to the charms by simply bringing the mouse to the upper corner. And the charms will appear along the side, as you can see. Likewise, bringing the mouse to the upper corner. Right now I don't have any other apps running, but it would show the apps that are currently engaged by doing that. You can still swipe under the arrow interface and bring up the charms list that way, just like you could under the Metro. So this is relatively easy to use. For those familiar with Windows 7, you can totally run this with a mouse without any problem. And for those who want to use the Metro interface, you can go to that. So far I've been finding that it's easier to use the Metro interface and to use the arrow interface to set up the Metro interface, such as defining the videos, defining the music, and so on. If I want to pick a video, for instance, I can bring up the video viewer, like so. Now I have Xbox Video, which has the Xbox selections and my local selections. These are my local videos. It just showed the first 9 by default, but there's a more complete selection. And you can bring them up by simply tapping on them. Sorry, tap well. Notice that you have full sound transferred to the television as well as the video. And we can bring up the menu from the bottom like before and pause the video and exit out. So things are fairly simple to do. Playing with music, same difference. It happens to remember the last song I played, and you can create your own playlist as well. This happens to be my music collection, which is really quite large. I've got over almost 4,000 songs on this particular machine. And you can see the complete list of albums this way. And play them. Internet Explorer is available. IE 10 gives you a very nice interface. And this happens to be my custom set of web pages that I use to browse the internet. Notice we can select CNN, for example, and CNN quickly comes up. You can also go back to my home page and select something else. Like there's Fox. Moving the finger on the screen allows you to scroll up and down. Nice convenience. And again, moving up gives you context menu. At the top you can see the various tabs, and you can turn them off. Bringing us back to my home page. I divided my home page into 2 frames, and with the 2 frames I've got different subject areas for websites I like to visit. Like so. As well as keeping a tab for the main page. The SkyDrive is certainly convenient. It's cleanly integrated with the system, making it very easy to access the material on the drive. And as you can see, I have quite a bit of material stored in my SkyDrive. Now if I access the SkyDrive through a web page, I also gain access to the Office that is provided through the SkyDrive. Office 2013 was also included in this version of Windows, and as you can see over here we have tiles for Excel, Word, PowerPoint, and OneNote. Windows 8 provides access to multiple clouds. You saw the SkyDrive already. This happens to be the Kindle and the books I have stored in the Kindle cloud. As you can see, there are quite a few. Plus, of course, there's the Xbox cloud, which provides videos and music. When you bring up, for example, the music, like I showed you a little while ago, I focused on my local copies of music. It also provides you with access to music from the Xbox Live cloud. Email is readily available, and it integrates with Outlook on my Windows 7 machine. So when I receive incoming email messages, for example, I see the same messages on both machines. When I send email from one machine, I can see it on the other too. There are 2 cameras on the Surface computer. Bringing up the camera app allows you to see what I'm doing that way. And if I switch the app, this is the other camera looking at the television. Plus we can switch it back. The Microsoft Store provides easy access to a lot of apps created by other people. Some of these apps are free, some of them are not so free. Angry Birds Star Wars, for example, costs $99, but the Wall Street Journal app is free. The NBC News app is free, and so on. There have been complaints that the number of apps is not as big as what you find on things like iTunes. I'm not too surprised about that, and it really doesn't bother me because typically I don't use that many different apps beyond what Windows 8 already provides. Since I got Windows 8, I've downloaded a few, like Fresh Paint and the Smart Glass to integrate my Xbox with the system, but other than that, I haven't used that many apps.